This is Win News.
Tonight, firefighters make a fly-in visit to Morwell. The owners of the Tura Post Office celebrate a victory. And the Gippsland research improving efficiency on dairy farms. Good evening, I'm Bruce Roberts. Also tonight, two Gippsland MPs, the big winners in a state government cabinet reshuffle. 200 personnel are continuing to work around the clock on the hotspots still burning in the Hazelwood mine. Today, some Victorian and interstate firefighters took some time out for a fly-in visit to primary school pupils in Morwell.
The two Sikorsky water bombers were among 3 aircraft that landed on the Morwell East football oval just after 9 this morning. Waiting were more than 200 pupils from 4 of the town's primary schools.
They are here to see the helicopters, and which they've heard for 5 weeks.
It's good for the community, good for the kids to come out and see what's happening in the town.
It was a chance to say thanks.
They spent the morning drawing pictures and making cards.
But also to understand the enormity of the 4.5-week effort in the open cut.
They have to take the water out because of the mine, because if they don't, the power will go out.
If you take the children and show them and educate them, it takes a lot of the fear away from them so they understand.
All have been impacted by the fire and subsequent smoke in some way.
It's been hard for the kids that haven't been to school, if they've been relocated, if they've been on respite.
We had to go to Traralgon because we were all getting really sick, and we didn't want to stay in Morwell for too long.
We've been getting away to Phillip Island, so that's been better.
It's also impacted on school life.
We've had a lot of smoke day timetable, which means we have to stay inside because the smoke's too bad, and it's being very frustrating.
But we've been going to places with the smoke, like we went to Walhalla yesterday.
Fire and Rescue New South Wales was among those on hand for this morning's event. Manning 10 fire stations around the state, it's repaying a favour to Victorians.
We were more than happy to come down and do what we could to help the state and help the fireys down here.
And the reason for that is to free up and allow the CFA firefighters that operate their specialist gear to go to Hazelwood open cut fire and still have crews on the ground in the cities doing the normal run-of-the-mill fire calls.
Also on hand was Traralgon's Bronto ladder platform, which stretches 42 metres into the air.
So have you been right to the top?
I have.
What's it like?
Scary.
The aircraft returned to the mine this afternoon as crews continue to work around the clock to make the fire safe.
We knew that when we went to control that there's 3 spots that are going to take a little bit of time.
Authorities plan to visit the remaining Morwell schools in coming weeks. Brooke Van Newton, Win News.
Meanwhile, the Gippsland Emergency Relief Fund has pleaded for funds to support the region's fire-affected communities. It comes as the organisation struggles to meet a $100,000 shortfall in its fundraising appeal.
The Gippsland Emergency Relief Fund is accustomed to responding to major emergencies, but never thought it would be embroiled in one of its own.
At the moment, we're sustaining around about $100,000 outgoings that we need to cover.
In response to bushfires in Gippsland's east, the fund handed out $160,000 from its reserve to fire-affected communities.
We need to maintain a small reserve so that we can react instantly.
The fund has been able to recover $60,000 via an appeal launched last month, but it's still $100,000 short.
If we sustain a continued drawdown on our fund, such as what we've just experienced, we won't be in a position to be able to help people.
In the past few months, the fund has helped communities rebuild in Jack River, East Gippsland, Westbury and Driffield.
They can go to the supermarket, they can buy some food, they can buy a change of clothes while they're getting their situation in order.
But the demand has grown to an unprecedented scale. In order to continue its quick emergency relief response, GERF is calling for the community's support.
Please be very generous and be assured that this money goes to the very people who need it the most.
Alexandria Zadzimarkis, Win News.
The Premier Dennis Napthine has chosen a new frontbench to take to the state election in November. The key portfolios remain unchanged, but 4 retiring ministers will be replaced by newcomers who include 3 members of the Nationals. But as Francis Bell reports, there'll be no return to Cabinet for former Premier Ted Baillieu.
A new lineup for an election year.
We'll be presenting to the people of Victoria a hard-working cabinet, a hard-working coalition team.
The 4 new ministers include Russell North, who takes on energy and resources and small business. His electorate of Morwell is home to the Hazelwood coal mine and power station, and he'd have responsibility for any future development of a coal seam gas industry.
We'll tread very warily, as we have said in the past.